Hello. Today I am going to do a book review on Wuthering Heights, and I just finished it a while ago. This is, on the back of it, it says, "This is the story of the savage torment fondling Heathcliff, who falls wildly in love with Catherine in Earnshaw, the daughter of his benefactor, and of the violence and misery that results from their thwarted longing for each other. A book of great power and strength, it is filled with the raw beauty of the moors and an uncanny understanding of the terrible truths about men and women. It is an understanding made even more extraordinary by the fact that it came from the heart of a woman who lived most of her brief life in the remote wilderness of the moors." So, this is about, obviously the main characters are Mr. Heathcliff and Catherine Linton. This takes place in Wuthering Heights, or actually it takes place in so it takes place in the moors, and it's about Catherine and Heathcliff and the love story. But it's not only just a love story. This plot is very intricate. It has many characters, and it's divided into two sections. The first section being Heathcliff's youth, and the second part being Heathcliff's maturity or adulthood. And kind of about him. It's mostly about him and his life and what happens with his character. Okay, these are the things that I want to talk about first. The plot is, in the beginning, it's mostly a story about the history of the Lintons and the other name, the Earnshaws, yeah, the Lintons and the Earnshaws, and their relationship to each other, and stuff. So it does talk about the fathers of them, and kind of breaks down the story into different characters and stuff like that. Then they also talk about the relationship between Heathcliff and Catherine, and some of the other characters too, like Catherine, the relationship between most of the characters. Heathcliff and Catherine has a strong connection. They are attracted to each other and they love each other, but they don't, they're not in a relationship really, like a loving relationship, but they are in this friendship and stuff like that. They also explain of other characters like Hindley, who hates Heathcliff, and Mr. Earnshaw, who loves Heathcliff. We have, different relationships, and stuff like that. Another part of the story that I really found intriguing is that the first section is about the first generation, talks about the first generation of the characters. So it talks about Hindley, Catherine, Heathcliff, who else? Edgar, who's on the other side, and Isabella. So it talks about those 5 different characters and their relationships and stuff. And then the last section, or the last book, I'm going to refer it to a book. The second half of the book is with the second generation, which is dealing with Kathy, which is a daughter of their children. So it's dealt with Kathy, Hernshire or something. I think it's Hernshire or something. I don't remember. And what was the other guy? Linton. And their relationships. Heathcliff is still present in that novel too. And that's kind of a spoiler, but not really. And then we have the themes. Now, the themes I noticed a lot is it's kind of in the beginning. Don't let this discourage you, but it's kind of like Romeo and Juliet. Kind of. We have this very high class and kind of a lower class. Although they were like people that are fighting against each other and they're supposed to be like equal class, there's a lot of Romeo and Juliet movies that kind of depict Romeo as being a lower class than Juliet, and Juliet being like a more higher class, just based on the movies I've seen. But I think they're actually supposed to be the same class. But this talks about class and the theme of rich versus poor and kind of your, what level you are in life. So, if you're poor and you don't really have an education, then that's not good. If you're rich and you have an education and, you're getting a lot of money, that's awesome, and stuff like that. Another theme in this book is young love, and I thought about it as being like a crush. But this one's not like a really big crush, because it's also about obsession about young love. So Catherine becomes obsessed with Heathcliff, and Heathcliff eventually becomes obsessed with Catherine, especially in the middle of the book and towards the end of the book, and stuff. And he's also kind of obsessed with her when he goes and visits her and stuff like that. Another theme in the book is revenge, and this is through one character only, and that's Heathcliff. He really changes, and he plans on taking revenge on her household and owning of having ownership of the house, and really like getting her back almost, but like, kind of like getting her, or stabbing the people, future generation, to the back and stuff. Another theme is forgiveness, and this is also could be related to that some people always forgive other people, but some people hold grudges. So it is about forgiveness and also holding grudges, which sometimes it takes a long time to forgive a person for doing something wrong, or that they didn't, and sometimes they forgive them right away. I also really liked the writing style. First off, it's a unique writing style. It uses a multiple narration, meaning many different people write or kind of tell the story. We have the first main narrator that we start off with, which is Mr. Lockwood. He has questions throughout this book, obviously, but he definitely gets to know all the characters and the relationship about this girl named Catherine, who apparently comes and haunts him almost, and he sees her. But and obviously Nellie also tells him the whole story of what has happened in the moor and why it's like that. Another interesting thing is that it does have accents and Old English. It is told in Old English, with kind of in poetry and stuff, and it's very poetic too. And it also uses accents. There's only one character that speaks. I think his name is Joseph, if I remember correctly. He speaks in Yorkshire accent. So yeah. Also, yeah, and also the main character. Um, there's actually 3 people that actually tell the story. There's Mr. Lockwood, who we meet in the beginning of the book. Nellie, who tells the story to Lockwood. Lockwood is telling it to us, the reader. And then we also have Isabella, who's telling Nellie, wrote a letter to Nellie, telling her account of the story. So there are multiple views in here, and I really like this book. I rate this book probably a 5 out of 5, because I definitely loved this story. It was intriguing. I especially love how they have elements of the Dark God and the elements of ghosts, and if we become ghosts and believe in ghosts, kind of what happens with our children, and how we impact other, like, our children, basically how we act, they're gonna act, that kind of stuff. It's a really good book, so I suggest you check it out.